What's up, guys? Today we're going to be reviewing Kids See Ghosts, the 2018 album featuring the duo Kanye West and Kid Cudi, which in this album go under the name Kids See Ghosts. Kanye and Cudi have been known to collaborate frequently with each other, but for the first time, they are going to be both featured on the same album. Going into this album for the first time, I definitely expected to see some interesting bars in production, but I did not expect this. I'm just going to go out and say it, Kids See Ghosts is one of the most ambitious and rewarding rap albums to come out in the 2010s. At about 25 minutes in length, every second of this album is amazing. Production-wise, every track is crisp and atmospheric, yet satisfying at the same time. The samples used in this album are implemented in such a creative and interesting way that you have no choice to appreciate it and focus on that. Kids See Ghosts has a distinct focus on mental health, as both artists have struggled through their own problems throughout 2018. Kanye West is bipolar, while Kid Cudi suffers from depression. This album explores mental health and how they both personally deal with it in a way that's refreshing to see. At certain points in this album, it's clear that Kanye and Cudi are truly speaking from the heart. These lyrics are also reinforced by the production, especially on tracks like Cudi Montage and Reborn. Kanye and Cudi, who are two artists that are known for spilling their emotions out in rap music, discuss a topic that has not been talked about too much in a fresh and creative way. Despite being only 25 minutes long, they managed to pack quite a bit of bars and music, and most importantly, chemistry with one another. Without further explanation, let's get on to the review. Opening the album, we are introduced with these ghostly synth chords with the track Feel the Love. Accompanying these chords is a distorted Kid Cudi singing, "I could still feel the love," which is echoed throughout the entirety of the song. Pusha T, who is featured on this track, delivers a pretty simple yet boastful verse in my opinion. I think that his verse does a great job to build up to Kanye's introduction onto the album. Speaking of Kanye, out of nowhere, Kanye comes out and delivers these crazy and sharp gunshot-like ad-libs that really surprised me on my first listen. These ad-libs, while they are quite bizarre, transition the song from a quiet state to an explosive and expressive masterpiece. What I love most about this track is its emphasis on rhythm. It's so satisfying to hear these ad-libs, the snares, and the initial synth chorus all come together on the same page rhythm-wise. It's weird because I have no words to describe the rhythmic section in Feel the Love other than exciting and innovative. I've never heard anything like it in my life. The layering and transitions on this song are also amazing. Overall, I would say this is one of the best tracks on the album. The next song on the album is called Fire, which includes a nice heavy guitar sample, which Kanye and his producer somehow made a fire beat with. In addition to this heavy march-like beat, we are also introduced to these amazing Kid Cudi hums, which I think only get better and better the more he does it. I really love this beat as well as the kick drum, which really allows for the duo to get creative with their flow and lyrics. This is definitely one of the more low-energy songs, especially compared to the opening track. But where this track really shines is in Kid Cudi's and Kanye's lyrics, as we really begin to feel and understand their trials and tribulations with mental health and social disparity. Kanye opens this track saying he loves shit-talking and criticizes the people that have come after him for his political beliefs. He continues to display this level of confidence during the remainder of the verse as he's back on his ruling self. Cudi then delivers an extremely personal verse on how he begins to see hope through all the pain. He then begins to talk about God and religion, which is the theme that permeates throughout the album. This relatively short track finishes off with Kid Cudi singing about the scars that he has had and how he has kind of ditched them and turned to God instead. The song concludes with these very peaceful guitar samples that act as a transition to the next song. Fourth Dimension is another one of those tracks that really display Kanye and Cudi's creativity when it comes to sampling. The sample for this track comes from a 1940s Santa Claus cartoon that eventually becomes chopped and distorted to really give this track some serious rhythm. Again, the kick drums on this song are so loud and crisp as well as the hi-hats, which kind of remind me of the sample as they are also muffled. It really shows how much Kanye and Cudi really care about producing each track on the album. The production on this track is gritty yet clear, which makes this track extremely lively and fun to listen to. In between Kanye and Cudi's verses is this creepy, ghostly child laughter, which while cool, contributes to the ghost theme of the album. Both of them kind of rap about non-school appropriate material, which I really won't comment on, but overall the production and the beat on this track really stands out. Free is a hit or miss track for many people. I understand that most people may not like the downward distorted free that is repeated throughout the track, but for me, I think it pretty much works. I think that at this point in the album, we really get to see Kanye's confidence and ways to deal with stress. At this point, Kanye doesn't care what others think about him too much, as nothing really hurts him anymore. In the verse of this song, Kanye, Cudi, and Ty Dolla $ign, who features on this track, tag team bars about hate and people bringing them down. The harmonies on this track, though, they are truly the highlight of this track, in contrast to the disgusting and distorted freeze in the beginning portion of the track. The singing, the layering on the track is beautiful and peaceful. Another thing that I really like about this song is the downward synth scales that close it out. While this isn't my favorite track on the album, it's still a pretty enjoyable rap rock fusion. While listening to Reborn, I get a completely different vibe than the previous songs. This is definitely by far the best track on the album. The production is simple and serene, which allows the artist to flourish on this track. I really like how this song builds on these cute piano chords as the artist speaks more about this global issue. Speaking of that, the chorus of this track especially is very uplifting and gives a positive message to those people suffering from mental illnesses or difficult portions in their life. Keep moving forward is a line that not only resonates throughout the entire song, but is a good line to define the album as a whole. Kanye and Cudi have gone through a lot of hardships, and to move forward is their way of dealing with public scrutiny and mental illness. Both artists comment on the problems in their life and talk about starting anew. In Kanye's verse, he talks about his mental state and how the conversations about him did not help at all. After this, which I think is the most important part in the entire album, Kanye suddenly gains confidence in his lyrics, flow, and delivery, and addresses these people. He now proclaims that he can now take on all the criticism thrown at him now. In a much more mellow and toned down segment of the track, Cudi really speaks about how he dealt with his depression. Reborn is probably the most memorable and heartfelt song on the album. It's catchy, powerful, and gives a great message to anyone suffering with a mental illness. Moving on to one of my favorite tracks, production-wise, is the track Kitsy Ghost. I love the ghostly and supernatural atmosphere and the synth production on the song. In addition to these eerie synths, the soft yet impactful beat also contributes to the ghostly vibe of the album. Not much else to say on this track other than it's pretty good. Cudi Montage I feel is the perfect send-off to the album. Featuring a Kurt Cobain guitar sample as the basis of the track, Cudi and Kanye build off one another to create an uplifting and dramatic final to Kitsy Ghost. In the chorus and Cudi's verse, Cudi reinforces the idea of religion and how it has been a way that Cudi deals with his depression and drug abuse. Despite the fact that the majority of the track, Kanye and Cudi repeat the same lyrics, the production in this track keeps every iteration of Stay Strong more powerful than the previous. The buildup of this track is truly beautiful and cinematic. Overall, I think that Kanye and Cudi did a fantastic job in this collaboration project. Although it is only 7 tracks long, I feel that every song has been curated to perfection, as it is clear that they spent a lot of time working on each song. I truly feel like this album hits pretty much all the check marks you want in a good collaborative rap album. Thought-provoking lyrics, check. Creative and interesting production, check. And seamless chemistry, check. I'm feeling a light 9 on this album. See ya.